back to that. I just wanted to comment on the amnesty. One thing that I've been working in District 3, talking to some of the neighborhoods, and I talked to Mary Lindsay briefly about it for the President's Council, is District 3 feels that they would like more pickups. That, again, they have larger properties, they'd like to do cleanups on their properties. They don't have as many rentals, so therefore they don't need as much bulk pickup. They'd like more vegetation pickups. So I've actually met with Jamie, we did a drive-through, and we're actually looking at what that looks like, if there's any cost increase, or can it be done in District 3, because we've talked about this before, each district's a little bit different in their needs. And one thing that we've identified in District 3 is that they need a little bit more vegetation pickup.
I've even heard people ask too, if I could just chime in on that issue, that even if they didn't pick up more, if they had just another bin, if they could have another bin for their yard waste, it would be helpful. Even if it was picked up at the same time, that they could put 2 bins out.
Yeah, we addressed that too.
Yeah, that was something, one of the things that was brought up. Okay.
Yep, that's it.
Any other comments, commissioners? Commissioner McCoy?
I guess I would look forward to hearing from, I guess, again, as I said earlier, from the city manager on what our plans are for the pool, and maybe those of us up here can make clear where we'd like to go with that. I do get comments from people that say that they would be willing to have family memberships or individual memberships, and so I guess I'd like to see some sort of analysis of the costs and how we could make that work, and a timeline for when it's going to happen. On the vacation rentals, this does seem to be something, I think the Chris Gosling, I'm guessing from England, wasn't that scary an accent. I think hit it on the head that this does for some reason seem to be something that elicits very strong feelings in people, very strong concerns on one side, and I think sort of a little bit of sadness from the side from people who are involved in it, whether they're guests coming to the community or folks who are doing it as a business, because it seems to be a quite positive thing and enhances the community. I was not aware of the level of involvement of people coming for longer periods, but now that you mentioned it, I have run into people who were in that situation, so I don't think you're alone in that. And I think that seems like an enhancement. So I would encourage us in our thinking to try to focus on solutions. If there's a problem that seems to be, that people are potentially worried about, maybe the community of vacation rental folks can help educate us and help allay some of those fears, or can suggest themselves, hey, if this problem comes up, here's what we would do to help the city, allay the concerns of neighbors and so on. Because the concerns are valid, but they seem to be more potential than actual at this point.
I think that's exactly what staff is going to do, and it is my hope and goal, and when you see things happen at meetings, whatever, it is my hope and goal that we exhaust research, information exchanges and whatever before things come to vote, before us as commissioners on it, that the parties involved are going to have good conversations with staff and whatnot, so that when we get up here, we're making final decisions on things that we have looked at. We can't just look at part of the story in any issue for the city. And it's my hope, and something that I'm bringing to the table, is that we look at meeting somewhere in the middle to find solutions to problems, or recognize that there isn't a middle ground to be found, or whatever it is. But whatever the answer is, we've done and exhausted every possibility to find a solution for it, because that is our job. We're about finding solutions for it. It's not to sit there and use this as a bully pulpit or a soapbox to tell them what we're interested in. I could care less if you were interested in what I am interested in, but I want to make sure that I'm here for you. My job is to do what you need to have done as a city that's going to move us forward. So, if that requires more research and whatever, I don't want to just throw things on an agenda to talk about things because they're hot topics. There's a lot of groundwork and legwork that goes into these issues that really has to be exhausted before we get up here and vote on something. And I think that's a good tactic to take, and I appreciate staff for backing us up on that. I think that it's good policy, and I appreciate the city manager and city attorney. Commissioner Amoroso?
I agree with Commissioner McCoy and Commissioner Zerdy. Can we just spend a moment and maybe give a little direction on behalf of the pool? Because I too have gotten a lot of calls, and I've seen, I don't know if everybody's getting the emails about the aquatic companies that are looking at, but I don't think that's been communicated with people, that we are actually aggressively looking at different aquatics, different thoughts and ideas. We've actually got some numbers. Originally, if you remember, staff came and said, we don't even have true numbers of what utilities would be on this property. Now we have 6 months in, we've taken that time to actually put some of that together. So if we could maybe get a timeline of just bringing it up on an agenda item where we can just maybe talk a little bit so the public actually knows that there's something being done on our side.
Well, there's been a lot done, a lot of research done on it. The thing is that we directed long time ago to have a workshop specifically on the pool. And that's something that we need to do, but if you haven't noticed, there's been a lot going on in the city. It's certainly not for lack of us trying to address important issues at every single meeting. There's so many things going on, but and which one takes precedence? Well, to everybody's gonna have a difference of opinion as to which item takes precedent over the other. So, your issue is the most important, and to each person, their issue is the most important. So we're trying, but I see your face, I understand, and I know what you're facing, I know what we're all facing, but it's important, and I'm a supporter of the pool and getting that pool open again, so, I'm hoping that we can all.
Can we make, but my thoughts were, we're going into summer.
Let me
get it open 3 days a week.
Let me wait. Everybody's looking for me to say something. Okay.
Right at you.
And well, except Mark, maybe. And I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. Anybody. You've asked me to come and do this job. And I can believe me. This pool, the beach facility, this park, it's actually 2 major projects, phenomenal, great partnerships. It is successful beyond our expectations. We're filling the parking lot. Working through all the issues, it is a success. I love it. I spend time down there myself. Y'all know that. But I would be remiss if I didn't say, several years ago, y'all embarked on a mission here to build an amenity for this city, and you can't afford it. And it's all part of the beach fund. It's a separate part that we can track all the expenses and costs. Over there, what's spent at the beach and what's made at the beach is supposed to operate itself as an enterprise fund, separate and apart from the city.
It's not.
The business model as anticipated, based on the rents and the revenues, is not performing. And that's normal in an amenity like this. It is an amenity. It's a great thing to have, but it's not performing to what they maybe expected when they wrote the business models. Secondly, there's a big gaping hole in the business plan as it was given to us that didn't address in any way, shape, or form the pool and the pool building. Okay, so when I started this thing a year ago and saying, hey, we got a problem with the pool here, first off, it looks like it may be damaged. We've worked through all those things. We've gotten to the facts. We've cleared out the cloudy water of what it cost strictly to run the pool, to mothball it. And at the end of the day, I know good and well we're going to open the pool up at least on limited hours. That's just, I can see it coming. It's going to happen. But you got to understand, and I'm going to say this to everybody out there, you're asking for an amenity from a city that doesn't have the resources, and you're asking it from a fund that's not healthy. We're going to be $350,000 to $400,000 short in the operation of the beach fund. Okay? I said this before. We're not paying the first year's debt service, which we borrowed from ourselves. So we'll ask the people who we borrowed the money from, can we do that? It's okay. So, and that's fine too. But I think everybody needs not to be delusional when you're asking for services from this city that you don't understand the complete impacts and default to, well, those so-and-sos don't know what they're doing, they're incompetent, and somewhere, I know there's money banging around City Hall. Trust me, I'm not sitting on a wad of cash over here.